Did you ever see the vampire again?
But I don't know. Like my memory, it's just suddenly he's not there anymore. So maybe
That's what vampires do. They vanish.
yeah.
So you, so I'm here with Snippins, Weenus, AI Eric, and today we're talking jobs. Ones we've loved, ones we hated. Part 2. There are 2 parts. Amazing! With friends who love to give each other the business.
I worked at a company for a long time that manufactures the machines that you have to blow into when you get a DUI to start your car.
How do you get these jobs? These are the weirdest.
I don't know.
Have
I
you
worked there
ever
for 13 years.
heard of a bank or an office?
I worked at a SEO company, so like search engine optimization, which is your Google rankings. We worked with a vampire, and the coworkers began bullying the vampire because he's a vampire. He's actually like a famous vampire. He was on the Tyra Banks show. You can look him up. He's Don the Vampire.
I was letting you go because I was like, he's gonna at some point.
It's like the vampire lifestyle is what they do. They began bullying the vampire guy, who's actually a genuinely really nice guy.
So hold on.
And he's
no, you can't just run over he was a vampire. You can't just say that and then be like, and also there was a Snickers bars in the break room. You can't do that.
There weren't Snickers
You're gonna
bars.
you're gonna have to go back. Now
he looks like dollar store Keanu Reeves.
He plays as a vampire,
it's like his lifestyle.
So, but he doesn't really think he's one. He's just doing it for the magic.
I don't know if you sat him down and were like, "Are you a genetic vampire?" He would say, "Yes, I've been bitten," but he believes for the purpose of his lifestyle that he is a vampire. He's a vampire the way some people are goth. Instead of going and dancing to the Smiths, he occasionally does some sort of. They're great, but he occasionally does some bloodletting stuff. I think.
What?
He stuck up for himself. An employee did not care for the fact that he had stuck up for himself, so he walked up to Sparta kick the vampire man out of a chair. That person then quit, and a few months later, they were rehired and made the operations manager of the company.
Wait, so he physically assaulted the vampire?
Yes.
Now did the vampire immediately heal his wounds? Because that's what I've been told.
I think they were more mental than physical, to be honest. I think he was a little bit more damaged about like how everything played out.
But he didn't use running water or a Bible.
No, nothing like that. It was just a good old fashioned boot to the chest.
I'm pretty sure like a Star of David wouldn't work on a vampire.
I don't think so. I think
physical. Like
I don't think you could just get any old cross too. It needs to be like prepped.
It has to be prepped. How do you prep it? What is the prepping situation?
You brought it up. That's a religious question that I can't answer.
Well, if a vampire came in and I was like, and I held up that elephant with the 7 arms, you'd be like, no.
Nobody has 7 arms.
I don't know how many. I'm not sure, but I'm saying, does any religious idol work, or does it have to physically be? I'm pretty sure it has to be a cross. Can't be.
I feel like maybe vampires would help us sort out what the real religion is. Because certain things just wouldn't work on it, and then one does. Huh?
Is it a religion?
I thought so. It's a cross, right? So it had to be like religious.
Oh, I thought you meant vampire.
Oh, no. But I mean, like,
all thought you meant vampirism is a religion.
No,
it
probably is.
Like, really?
Oh shit!
What?
Vampirism.
I would guess that it probably is.
Vampirism is a religion. You bite people because you're hungry for their delicious blood.
Well, that's in the fictional sense, but I would argue that people who live the vampire lifestyle.
What other senses? Hold on. What other sense is there?
Whatever magical sense leads people to believe they're living, day-walking vampires.
So, whoa. This is the other question I was about to ask. So he is a vampire, and Sunlight is like, he's like, whatever.
Oh, he walked around in the day, so he was a day walker.
So he's like Blade, but he doesn't fight other vampires. He just
there's no blood raves. He just gets kicked in offices.
Like, aren't they supposed to have superhuman fighting skills?
Is it because he was a vampire, or was there more?
No, like I said, he was a really nice guy. I think just the fact that he was like the vampire guy led to people like, I imagine a lot of the coworkers were probably low-key kind of religious, so they saw him as probably figured he was a Satanist, like that kind of thing. It's just like anything. The work G chat started lighting up with people linking the Tyra video. And then
Oh,
the
so
guys
he went
yelling
on
out,
fire before
yes.
he was work. Okay.
I don't think if you would have asked, like, hey, are you a vampire? I don't think you would have been like, no, don't talk about that here. I think you'd have been like, yeah.
Is
Yeah.
really all you can say.
Yes.
Transylvania is, and not to put too fine a point on it, in Europe.
Anyways, did anybody ever find out where this vampire kept his coffin? Because that's his special power.
I would assume at his house.
Oh, it's at his house.
Honestly, the vampire is more of a victim in the story than the reason the place sucked.
There's nothing sadder than a victimized vampire. Like, like I don't know what to do.
Oh, it's got vampire.
Speaking of vampires getting harassed in the workplace, who has any hope at all?
A sad face with two little teeth sticking out of it is really just not what anybody wants to see.
No.
Like ever.
Who wants to see a sad vampire?
He probably should have asked, is this a safe environment for a vampire?
Well, I'd be kicked and assaulted by someone who will eventually run half the company.
Why would a vampire demand a safe place? Why would he not come in until someone invited him first? Because
Well,
apparently,
they invited him in for the interview.
yeah, but that doesn't mean come in whenever you want. When you invite a vampire into your home, that's when your daughter goes missing. You can't. He just can't just walk in. He can claw at the window with his little fingers, but that's apparently all he can do. There are rules. You can't just come in and start biting people. What's
I
he
think
invited?
assuming that there is a set of rules that you can rely on is what gets a lot of people killed by vampires.
All we can do is look at these wonderful documents called black and white shitty horror movies. That's the only way we know. That's why we know that you can't just hold up herbal tea and the vampire runs screaming away, because herbal tea is the blessed tea that is herbal. And that's why.
Wait, what other teas are there other than herbal teas?
No, there's black tea, you son of a bitch. There's green tea, you motherfucker. There's all kinds of. What the hell is happening right now?
I feel teased right now.
No, teased with tea.
There's a rooibos tea?
Are you doing a thing? Did you create like a thing with another thing? Did you make an artisanal joke, a handcrafted spritz for everyone to enjoy?
British tea time was adopted from India by the British, and by that I mean stolen and taken back to Europe.
Gunman also patrolled our halls at that job.
What?
The owner started selling products to the Oath Keepers in like
Oh,
2016.
There's an oath
Yeah.
keeper connection? What the hell? Really?
Yeah. He started selling these preparation kits to Oath Keepers because Oath Keepers used to think that Red Dawn was going to happen. They believed that the Russians and the Chinese were going to paratroop into the US, hit us with an EMP, and take over the country. Their oath was they were going to protect the country, and they were setting up like radio stations around cities to where when the EMP hit, they'd be able to do dead drops and stuff. One of my old coworkers told me when COVID was happening, they were having them do supply drops, like the coworkers. The guy went off the deep end.
Yeah, hold on a second.
Yeah.
The radios wouldn't work in the event of an EMP. They do understand.
Well, yeah, he wasn't a brilliant man.
So do they have cups with like cords so they could put the
I
cup?
hope so. They were like walkies, basically.
Were they pigeons? Were they like carrier pigeons or ravens, like in the Game of Thrones?
No, it was just walkie-talkies and handguns.
Walkie-talkies, which will be inefficient and completely unnecessary after an EMP. Okay, continue.
The coworkers weren't involved in all this. There was just a handful of us that would set up the radio terminals and then send them away with the Oath Keeper people.
Hold
When
on.
there was that big, yeah.
Wait, no, you can't just you can't admit to a felony and then just
Oh,
go
Johnny.
off. You created prepackaged survival gear for
Yeah.
the Oath Keepers, is what you're
But like everything that we sold at that company was snake oil. So, like as you pointed out, these radios probably weren't going to work after an
No.
EMP.
How could they? The Shazamos. So Shazamos is a scientific term. And then you created these technological marvels in the event that an EMP would come and made them completely useless. But were there did you put like little AKs in there, or perhaps boxes of ammunition, which is something they would actually need and or be able to use?
No, you didn't have to provide guns or ammo to these people. They had plenty of both.
Do you think that any of your coworkers were shoving barricades January 6th?
The tech department was like a weird microcosm inside this evil company.
When any of them got tackled, like a Nature Valley bar came out of their holster, do you think you may have packed that at one time?
No.
Oh.
No, but that's amazing.
Oh, no, that didn't happen.
They were shoving barricades, holding the walkie-talkie we had provided.
Yeah,
I guess that is possible. Yeah.
You're like, hey, that has Wheatus on it. Like, did you put?
Yeah, I hadn't made that connection before, but you're probably right. At least one of those walkies made it to DC. Yeah.
Right. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Something that you've touched attacked the nation's capital. I mean, that's something you could. No, that's
Pat myself on the
good,
shoulder.
a little bit, and then right to prison. So the vampire guy, was he an oath keeper? Because you couldn't stop him. Like you.
No,
shoot
I don't
him,
think he was.
he's getting back up. You understand what I'm saying? Like you cannot.
He would have taken the Capitol had he been there.
Yeah, yes, for sure.
All you have to do is be a coworker named Shane to stop him.
One kick to the face.
It's a pretty simple weakness.
I mean, was he just crushed after that? Like,
I wasn't in the
Did he
room when it
cry?
happened. We only heard like the grapevine, but we heard he was
Okay.
kicked out of an office chair.
Well, he physically left the chair due to the kinetic force of the kick.
That was the story that passed down the hallway to us.
But he could fly, couldn't he? I mean, if
He turns into a bat.
yeah, like if you kick him really hard and just a flurry of bats.
Maybe the coworker was too fast for his vampire reflexes.
How they're supposed to be superhuman? I don't understand. So you're telling me that the vampire got kicked and then flew out of a chair? But flew. We don't know what flew out of the chair means. For all we know, it was like flew out.
Up into the corner, he like perched
You don't know.
upwards in the upper corner. Yeah.
Yeah, you don't know. Like this is where this is a case where language fails you. When someone says he flew out of the chair, did they mean he like fell on his ass and like rolled around and threw up like on the ground right before his face, or did he just majestically fly out of the chair?
I always visualized it that the chair or him were kicked and he fell onto the ground in a heap. That's how I always picture it. Not exactly
No.
graceful or supernatural.
No. Not the
well, what is the enemy of a vampire? What kind of cryptid was the guy that kicked him?
werewolf? Was he a werewolf? Because it could be werewolf versus vampire.
No, he was a guy who would openly argue with his girlfriend in the halls of the workplace.
Nice.
So just a guy. I don't know if you've ever had a girlfriend. So just a guy is what you're saying.
Just a
Just
guy.
some
Yeah.
dude.
He was a guy.
Yeah, okay. I don't know if you ever had a girlfriend, but that's like a Tuesday.
I remember the count from Sesame Street. 1, 1 Europe, 2, 2 wonderful Europes, 3, 3 wonderful Europes.
The vampire can't attack the Capitol. He wasn't invited.
Well, he could have been outside
Yeah,
pushing
just
the barricades.
just being outside, like slowly floating in front of the window, that's not terrifying.
Tapping on the window with his finger.
It's just a waste of time, really.
Does the owner of the building have to invite a vampire, or could like one of the insurrectionists go in, turn around, and say, "Come on in, vampire"?
That's an excellent question, and I do believe it has to be the management. So, like in the old black and white movies, like a little toddler can't be like, "Come in, vampire." It has to be the actual
Adult.
Yes.
Okay.
But isn't the Capitol building owned by America? Like people, us, everyone?
Snippet, are you a secret oath keeper? That's exactly what an oath keeper would say right before they break a window. Like,
Do you know the walkies?
I'm not an
Snippets, do
I
you
don't
have any of Witness's walkie-talkies in any of the drawers? Okay, I'm just checking. Oh my goodness, this has really turned into a horror show. So I have tallied our votes, and feel free to write in the comments section who you think is never right in this episode.
Was I wrong for packing the walkie-talkies? for
I
the
don't know.
insurrection?
I'm asking you. I'm asking you. I'm asking you. But no Nature Valleys. That wasn't you.
No. Just the walkies.
Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and hit that notification bell if you want more content from the Never Right podcast.